Hi, this is Maylee Bingham from pitglass.com. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is part of a three-part live stream series that is all part of my Fashionable Networking course launch. And tonight I am very pleased to have Melissa McGraw with me. She is the founder of The Creative Potential. Melissa is also a 20-year veteran in the fashion industry. She's done collaborations with such brands as Calvin Klein, Cynthia Rowley, Nicole Miller, and Gwen Stefani with Lamb. She is also an e-com guru. She is working on platforms such as Amazon and Neiman Marcus, and she is an adjunct professor at FIT. So welcome. Thank you for being part of this.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. So excited to be here.
Great. So we are going to be specifically talking about creative collaboration ideas and which ones are working best in the industry right now. So tonight's live stream, we're going to be covering the following: why collaborations are so important now more than ever, and what the different types of collaborations are, and which ones are right for you and how you make that decision. Okay, so before we even get started, I just want to tell you that, as I mentioned before, this live stream is part of my Fashionable Networking online course pre-launch. So everyone that is joining us here today is going to get a special 20% discount. I'm going to share it for you at the very end. And also, Melissa has been very generous and is going to give you guys a special offer as well. So
yes,
thank you for that.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about it. Do you want me to talk about it now, or should we wait till the end?
Give them a little teaser.
Okay. Well, the creative potential is about building your online business, getting traffic, and getting more sales. So I'm going to be giving away, I'll be giving away a free website checkup for those that join the webinar today. So we'll give you the details later.
Okay, perfect. All right. So now let's just dive into our main topic tonight, which is about the collaborations and creative collaboration ideas. So let's just get started. How did you first get into the fashion industry, and can you kind of tell us a little bit about your growth in your career and background?
All right. Well, it's a long one, so I won't take up too much time. Well, I started out in the industry, I'll go with 20 years. I'll just keep it at that. I went into the fashion industry like 3 weeks after I graduated from college in Pennsylvania. I made my way up into New York City, again, 3 weeks after graduation, and I became assistant buyer for Belk department stores. They had a buying office at that time in New York City. So I was an assistant buyer in women's better sportswear. I then moved into sales, working with department stores like Macy's, Lauren Taylor, you name it. I worked for Liz Claiborne, and then I went into Calvin Klein, and I was working with men's CK jeans in men's merchandising as well as in sales. Then I made my way into handbags, which was, a dream. I got to work with Nicole Miller, Cynthia Rowley. I launched Harajuku Lovers and Lamb handbags, Joe's Jeans handbags, even Rockaware handbags in department stores. So it was a crazy time, great experience. I worked with big companies, like I mentioned, and then I also got my hands into smaller companies, helping them launch in the United States, some smaller brands, even from Europe, trying to get US distribution. So I kind of seen it all from big to small, what works, what doesn't. And then I went into e-commerce in 2010. I started working very closely with Amazon and creating content for over 80,000 items that are currently sold on Amazon. And what else did I do? Oh, I'm also an adjunct professor at FIT teaching e-commerce. So that's kind of my background in the fashion industry in a nutshell. I'm sure I'm missing something. It's a long time.
Well, okay, so as you were working your career, can you, I mentioned earlier that you had worked on some collaborations with some of these other brands. Can you kind of give us a little backstory about some of those and what was involved?
Well, even working with like large corporate brands and back, way back when, in the term influencer really wasn't coined yet. I'm gonna like date myself, but so that's what we reached out to, were the influencers of that time, and working with Lamb, giving samples to the influencers so they could be photographed wearing the product. That was a collaboration that often we had, or doing in-store events, collaborating with special stores, also even malls like Westfield, which owns many of the major malls across the country, doing events with them like in style, back to school style events. And I've also worked with other websites, just what to wear to work, those type of style segments. So creating those type of collaborations.
That's so exciting. I wish I was doing like more things like that. So now you have your own business, you have the creative potential. Can you first kind of explain to our audience what the creative potential is, who your audience is, like who your clientele is, and what exactly you do for them?
The creative potentials of an online resource or online hub catering to small business owners, creative entrepreneurs like us, artisans, emerging designers, you name it, that are looking to grow their business online, and that through traffic, gaining more traffic and more sales. That's what I'm trying to focus on. So I offer courses. I also offer a website checkup, which I mentioned, checking out your website, because sometimes you're so close to it, you don't even realize like, hey, oh my gosh, I need to change this. What's going on? I don't know. And maybe someone else just needs to look at it for you. I also am, well, I'm going to be working on a few other things that I can't just say just yet, but stay tuned. There's a lot more going on at the Creative Potential.
Okay, and I just want to point out that Melissa did do a website checkout for me, and she found some really great, like, I shouldn't say great, she found some holes that I needed to work on, and so she was a huge help for me with my website. So I highly recommend you take part in that checkup if you do have a website for your brand.
Thank you.
So my next question is, you now work with all these different types of creatives. It's not specifically for the fashion industry, although some of them are. But why do you think collaborations have become so much more important these days? And why is it all of a sudden it seems like everyone is doing it?
Because now I realize you can't do everything. And as an entrepreneur, you're always growing and learning, and you can do it by collaborating with each other, playing off each other's strengths and weaknesses to get to an end goal. So collaboration is key, whether you're having a meetup and you're using someone else's space, but it's a collaborative effort towards an end goal. You're trying to gain more traffic to your store, you're trying to gain more traffic to your site. I think they're key now in growing your business.
Okay, so on that same subject, let's just kind of go over for the viewers what some of the best benefits are for doing a collaboration. And I have a few points that I want to make. So the first major benefit that people are going to get from doing a collaboration is by getting a different perspective. So this might entail, when you are working with somebody else, you are getting to get their feedback on whatever your project idea is, and therefore they might be coming at it from a completely different angle, and which might cause you to want to tweak or change whatever your project idea is. Do you have any feedback on that or any other suggestions?
Well, you mentioned trying to get feedback on for example, if you collaborate together, feedback on a project that they might be working on. Yeah, I think by just working together, especially, for example, and I do this a lot, if I offer a free website checkup, and I just did this with you, a testimonial, that will help getting feedback on my service and feedback on your website. So I think that type of collaboration is key. And I know you're going to go into it more, like swapping talent. That can be that type of collaboration. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So then the next major benefit for doing a collaboration is going to be to validate your concept. So if you are, have a great collaboration idea and you want to work with somebody else, just kind of validating that idea is even a good one. So when you reach out to whomever you might want to do this collaboration with, and you say, hey, I have this great idea. What if we do this? Well, it might come back that person's like, yeah, that's a good idea, but I would do it this way, or, my audience is more interested in this. So you're kind of validating whether or not your idea for the collaboration or the project is a good one. So
yeah, I agree with that. And you see if you're going to be on the same page or not, and it might not be the right fit for your idea, and maybe you have to collaborate with someone else. Absolutely.
Right. And point number 3 is going to be you gain insight in information that you may or may not have otherwise had access to. And an example of that might be if you are working with someone who has technical knowledge in some area, like if you are working with, I don't know, a videographer or something, and they are going to have technical knowledge of the different types of equipment is best, or maybe different platforms to use, whatever the case may be. This might be an area that you yourself do not have technical knowledge in. And so by doing a collaboration with someone that is an expert in a particular field is going to give you that immediate access to that information that you normally wouldn't have, or it would take you a lot longer to get, I should say.
That's so true. Just like I mentioned earlier, as an entrepreneur, you're always learning and growing. So the more information you get, the better. And what better way is through a collaboration.
Yes. And so my next point is, and this is a big one, is the biggest reason I think people do collaborations is that it widens their visibility in their niche or in their industry. So, whenever you're doing any kind of a collaboration, you yourself have your immediate circle of influence, people that know you, that know your work. But when you collaborate with somebody else, all of a sudden your work or the project that you're going to work on together becomes known to their audience as well, and vice versa. So you're both kind of capitalizing on each other's audience and industry or niche. So you're just gaining visibility all around.
That's so true.
So. All right. And next is you can save time and get to market faster. So depending on the type of project or collaboration that you are doing, you might be selling a product of some way, some form. And so when you are collaborating with different artists, different creatives, the fact that each one of you are going to be working on your own particular field, you're going to be able to finish the total project in a much sooner time frame, and therefore can get that product to market faster. So, and then lastly is I I call it the 10X rule. So whenever you do a collaboration with someone, because each one of you are most likely going to have your own expertise in a particular area, you are going to, your end result, your end product is going to be like 10 times better than anything you could have done on your own, because whomever you're collaborating with has their own expertise and they are going to bring their skill set to that collaboration that you wouldn't normally be able to do on your own. So
yeah, I think it's a win-win.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we are going to talk about what are some of the different types of collaborations that people could work on, and you can give some of your examples that you have done or any of your clients have worked on. That would be a great feedback. So our first example, I shouldn't say example, our first type of collaboration would be what we call a talent swap, which is a very easy one to do. In the fashion industry, the one that I think of right away is if someone has their own, say, clothing line and they want to put on a fashion show, or maybe they want to have a photo shoot. So they might tag team with, say, someone who's a handbag designer or a hat designer or a jewelry designer or a shoe designer, and they're kind of like sharing their talents. Another example, which might be a little bit easier one to understand, might be for talent swap would be the photographer that you might use. That person might be, say, hey, I want some more examples of fashion photography in my portfolio, so I will take photos of your clothing line in exchange, you know, that I can use these in my portfolio or for some other reason, and you get the photos from that.
Yeah, I think with creative entrepreneurs, and I've done this in the past, like photographers just taking headshots in exchange for taking a look at their website, maybe writing some content. So that's a talent swap there. I think it's very common, though you don't want to make it a practice of everything. Because of course, everyone's offering a service or a product. They want to get paid. That's the, that's the
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think it's fine once in a while to do talent swaps, definitely. And it's a form of collaboration, obviously, and you are building your network. So I think it's, like I mentioned, it's a win-win, and I've used it before, especially with photographers.
Great. Okay, so the next type of collaboration that someone might want to do is what I call a grassroots marketing. So we all have to market, and you know, if we have our own brand or our own product of some sort. And so this one is when you are offering your product or your service to someone else to be used in exchange for some sort of exposure. So an example of this might be if you are, let's say, if you are working in the fashion industry and maybe you are offer your clothing to maybe an artist who's doing a special exhibit of some sort where they just need the props to be used in a certain way for artists, or let's see, what's another good one? Maybe if you have, maybe if you're a stylist and you are, well, that's not really a good example. Let's see.
Even if you, for example, even if you had like a clothing line and you offered it to your local anchor person to wear it on air. So that's a way of just showcasing your clothes. Yes, is it an expense? You're most likely giving these items away for free, but it gains exposure. It's grassroots marketing that way. Even people giving out T-shirts of a brand, what we call brand ambassadors, for example, on a college campus, giving out T-shirts of a certain brand, that's grassroots marketing, just spreading the word, and just by giving out swag, what we call swag, just promotional items that way.
Swag is a very good example. Yes. Okay, so the next type of collaboration is a crossover category or industry. So an example of this would be someone who's maybe already established in their particular brand or niche, and they are doing maybe a special edition product for a different category or a different industry. So this might be Kate Spade, who is known for handbags, doing a collaboration to come up with special edition invitations or, paper products. Or Vera Wang, who's obviously known for her wedding dresses. She did a collaboration to do china or jewelry. I think she had one with like Zales recently. So that's a good example of that. Do you have any other examples that are?
Well, just working with smaller emerging designers, some that I have worked with have been approached that just to create different product categories that they maybe weren't accustomed to, but it's a new opportunity to move into a new category, and one that can be, in some cases, some designers find that it was more profitable than their original product category. So they just moved in an entirely different direction. So yeah, you can cross over into certain categories. For example, if you design a print on dresses, someone might ask you to design pillows, and there goes, and then comes a whole new home category for you.
Oh, that's a really good example. Yeah, I love that, like going into home goods. That's so nice. Yeah. Okay. So our last, I shouldn't say our last, our second to last type of collaboration is going to be offering some sort of content. So examples of this would be interviews with other either paper or digital places, writing articles, doing a blog post, and or maybe being on someone else's podcast or on a YouTube live stream like this. And so some other things that are kind of similar is a lot of people will become like a contributing editor for, say, a magazine or a digital magazine, or maybe they have contributed some other form of content. So a lot of either paper or digital platforms, everyone needs content. I need content for my own website, pitglass.com. That's why I interview people. You need content for your blog as well and for your website. So these are examples of places that need some sort of content contribution, but there's other, I'm sure you might have other examples that some of your more creative, digital creatives might have tried.
I think,
do you have any of them?
Well, yeah, definitely with guest posting on blogs and podcasts and YouTube. Also now doing Facebook Lives in each other's groups are really important. I know in my group that I asked fellow entrepreneurs to do guest speak every single week. Sometimes I have up to 5 a week because they're just giving out knowledge that others can learn from. So I think it's really, really important content contribution. And now there's also a new app out there called Anchor, where you can have your own radio snippet. I'm still looking into it, but that's another way of getting your content out there.
Wow, that's really interesting. And just another point when it comes to content contribution, this is another way that sort of anchors you as an expert in a particular field. So even if you are an artist of some sort, if you are, say, a clothing designer or a shoe designer or something like that, or a stylist, being on a panel discussion or being interviewed in some way or giving an article, it establishes you as an expert. So it's another great reason to do a collaboration like that. Okay, So our very last one is what I call our process improvement. And this is really more for people who are trying to find a way to do a collaboration within their current organization. So I actually have done this several times and has worked marvelously for my career, because an example is going to be if someone is working in a company and they do a collaboration, or they kind of like team up with someone in a completely different department to kind of either come up with new ideas and or improve the process that is already in place. So it has the same benefits as the other collaborations that we mentioned, because that department is now you're more visible to other people in that company, in the other departments that you wouldn't normally become ingrained with, as well as depending on what your project is that you work on, you're going to be known more as like the expert or the go-to person in that area. And people within your company, as well as outside of your niche or industry, will become more known to, like, oh, they worked on this project. It might have given you a new skill set or a new knowledge in a particular area that is going to make you a more valuable employee, or something that you can use on your own going forward later. So those are the different types of collaborations. And so lastly, I just want to ask you, now that someone, they're might be thinking about all these different types of collaborations that they're going to do. So what are kind of like their next steps? So what are their, how do they know which ones are going to be right for them? And how do they, find the right kind of collaboration partners that are going to work the best?
Well, I think that both when you're approaching someone about a collaboration, you have to be on the same page. You have to determine up front, you have to talk it out, because the last thing you want to do is go into a collaboration and having one feel that they're doing all the work, they're getting angry, resentful, and that the other person is going to drop the ball. So if you have everything out in the open and you have to discuss it, yeah, it's not fun, but yeah, you have to discuss it. Who does what? Who does the social media? Who creates the hashtags? Who does what? If it's an event, getting the space, whatever it is, getting the food. We just did a collaboration event in April at Flying Soul Collective in New York. We did just a meetup, and we collaborate together. You pick up the food, you get the drinks. Yeah, it's a collaborative effort. So you're working together. Everyone's on the same page. I think that is key when trying to come up with a collaboration. And as long as there's communication, it should go smoothly.
Okay. I think that is fantastic. Okay, so that is it for our live stream in regards to finding creative collaboration ideas. I want to thank everyone who has joined us here live. And as I mentioned earlier, this is part of my Fashionable Networking online course pre-launch. So that is my online course teaches people how to learn how to network the right way. It is a course that was designed specifically for people who are creative, working in the fashion industry, who want to take their career or their business to that next level, and they want to learn how to network the right way. Having a strong network of friends, colleagues, business partners, collaboration partners is key, and it's really the fastest way that you're going to grow your career or your business. So it is extremely important to get to that next level. And in this course, I walk you through a step-by-step process of how to start to reach out and start to network from scratch. And best of all, I even show you how to make an automated process at the end so that you don't even have to think about it. So it's super easy. And then This course has 2 tiers. If you are interested, there is the main course, which is $97. And with this, you get a 20-page workbook, 6 modules that walk you through step-by-step on how to start networking today from scratch. There are templates on how to reach out, as well as a digital business card checklist, a LinkedIn profile checklist, and a networking tool that is exclusive to the members of this course. And the premium membership is $197, and it has an additional 3 modules for how to network using social media, how to network on LinkedIn, and how to network with collaboration partners. So very special modules for those. And those are more for people who have their own small business, or maybe they're a freelance business and they really just want to take it up a notch and take it to that next level. So Melissa, you have a great gift for us. Can you talk about that for our readers?
I do. Well, first thing I'm going to say, your course sounds amazing. I wish I had it when I first started out in the industry, and not being very green in the industry and not knowing anyone and afraid to network. I think this is like really, really needed to kind of get out of your comfort zone and hiding behind a computer or behind your phone on social media, and learning how to network and get ahead in the industry. I think it's really cool. So
thank you.
You guys got to check that out. So my offer, the freebie. So if anyone that is on this webinar today, you can get a free website checkup. And what does that include? That is a 90-minute video, about a 90-minute, 60 to 90-minute video of me taking a look at your website, going over SEO, which is like alt tags, your image names, all of that good stuff. I won't go into all the technical details. If your site navigation is working properly, you can take a look out on my website, The Creative Potential. There's a section called the website checkup. You can get more details about what I do there. So if you email melissa@thecreativepotential.com, and just in the subject header, put collaboration webinar free website checkup, I'll know you're coming from the webinar. And I will offer a free website checkup, and all in exchange is a testimonial from you. So I need the testimonial so I can put that on my website. And yeah, that's my freebie.
Great. Did you want to give me that link so I could put it in the email that they'll receive after this webinar?
You're just going to email me, melissa@thecreativepotential.com, and then, yeah, just the subject header, collaboration webinar, free website.
Okay. I will put that in the notes.
Yeah.
So just tell us, where can people find you and follow you?
Okay, and my site is thecreativepotential.com. I am on Instagram @thecreativepotential. The Pinterest, I'm on yes, I am The Creative Potential. Twitter, it's Create TV Potential, because like creative, but it's, character limit. And also on Facebook, I do have a Facebook group of over 1,200 entrepreneurs called The Creative Potential. I would love for you to check that out. That's a private, closed Facebook group, but please request to join if you haven't already done so. And then also our Facebook page too, we're on there as well. And soon to have a YouTube channel, putting that together soon. So that will probably be called The Creative Potential too. So that's where you can find me.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually in your Creative Potential Facebook group, and it is a really great group of all kinds of different creatives. So it's a great place to kind of get feedback from people and kind of bounce ideas off of them, and actually find other people as well that you might want to collaborate with. So it's a really great resource for people to go. So The Creative Potential on Facebook. Okay. So that is it for our live stream. As I mentioned, this is part of a 3-part live stream series. So you can join me again next week on the 16th, which is a Wednesday at 7 p.m. And you can sign up for that live stream as well. And in that one, I am going to be answering all of your questions about how to network the right way in the fashion industry. So come prepared with any of your questions, and I will answer them live for you. So join that link as well. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.